Remember Superman, 1978? The film that made us believe a man could fly? Decades later, the cast's real-life stories took turns more dramatic than any script. Which heroes soared to success, and which fell into tragedy? Who's still with us, and who met a heartbreaking end? Marlon Brando, the legendary actor who brought gravitas to the role of Jor-El in Superman, 1978, was born on April 3, 1924, and was 54 years old when he filmed the movie. Already an icon from classics like A Streetcar Named Desire and The Godfather, Brando's appearance as Superman's father was brief but unforgettable, earning him one of the highest paychecks in Hollywood at the time for minimal screen time. Throughout his career, Brando starred in countless acclaimed films, including On the Waterfront and Last Tango in Paris. However, his life was marked by turbulence, strained family relationships, weight struggles, and public clashes with studios. A major personal tragedy struck in 1990 when his son Christian was convicted of manslaughter, and in 1995, his daughter Cheyenne took her own life, events that deeply scarred him. Professionally, his refusal to conform to Hollywood norms often led to conflicts, making him both admired and controversial. Brando died on July 1, 2004 at the age of 80 from respiratory failure caused by pulmonary fibrosis and heart failure. At the time of his death, his net worth was estimated at tens of millions, much of it invested in his private island in Tahiti, Tetiaroa. Though married 3 times and fathering at least 11 children, his relationships were often stormy, with multiple divorces and public disputes. His Tahitian estate remains a testament to his taste for seclusion and beauty, a final refuge for a man whose life was as dramatic off-screen as it was on. Christopher Reeve, forever immortalized as Superman/Clark Kent in Superman, 1978, was born on September 25, 1952, and was just 26 years old when he donned the cape for the first time. A classically trained actor from Juilliard, Reeve brought both physical presence and heartfelt humanity to the role, redefining the superhero for a generation. His career included not only the Superman sequels but also films like Somewhere in Time and The Remains of the Day. However, his life took a tragic turn in 1995 when a horseback riding accident left him paralyzed from the neck down. This devastating injury transformed him from a Hollywood star into a global symbol of courage and advocacy, as he tirelessly campaigned for spinal cord research and disability rights. The accident also placed immense emotional and financial strain on his life, but with the steadfast support of his wife, Dana, he continued working as a director, writer, and public speaker. His net worth at the time of his death was modest compared to his fame, as much of it was spent on medical care and charitable work. Reeve passed away on October 10, 2004, at the age of 52, from cardiac arrest caused by complications from his paralysis. Married once and father to 3 children, his family life was filled with love but shadowed by hardship. Dana herself died of lung cancer just 2 years later. His home in Bedford, New York, became both a sanctuary and a center for his advocacy efforts, a lasting symbol of a hero whose greatest strength was not superpowers, but resilience. Jackie Cooper, the iconic actor who portrayed the no-nonsense editor Perry White in Superman, 1978, was born on September 15, 1922. He was 56 years old when he took on the role, bringing a commanding presence and sharp wit to the Daily Planet newsroom. Cooper had already been a household name decades earlier, becoming one of Hollywood's first child stars in Skippy, 1931, for which he earned an Academy Award nomination at just 9 years old. His career later expanded into directing and television work, including Hennessy and The People's Choice. Behind the camera, however, Cooper's life was not without turbulence. He endured a strained relationship with the Hollywood system, periods of being typecast, and financial stress after early fame faded. His personal life saw 3 marriages, 2 ending in divorce. The dissolution of his second marriage was particularly difficult, marked by bitter custody disputes over his children. Cooper's later years were quieter, though he remained active in the industry until the early 1990s. He passed away on May 3, 2011, from natural causes at the age of 88. At the time of his death, his net worth was estimated at around $18 million, built from decades of acting, directing, and smart investments. He lived in a comfortable California home, preferring privacy over public attention in his final years. Though he faced the highs and lows of fame, from child stardom to the struggles of reinventing himself, Jackie Cooper's career remains a testament to resilience and adaptability, and his Perry White in Superman is still fondly remembered by fans worldwide. Glenn Ford, the legendary actor who played the warm and principled Pa Kent in Superman, 1978, was born on May 1, 1916. He was 62 when he portrayed Clark Kent's adoptive father, bringing a quiet dignity and heartfelt wisdom to the role. By then, Ford had already been one of Hollywood's most bankable leading men, starring in classics like Gilda, 1946, The Big Heat, 1953, and 3:10 to Yuma, 1957. His career spanned over 5 decades, covering film, television, and stage. Despite his on-screen charm, Ford's personal life was far from smooth. He married and divorced 4 times, with each separation attracting media attention. His romantic life was the subject of countless rumors, linking him to high-profile actresses and sparking controversy. Professionally, the shift in Hollywood trends during the 1970s led to fewer leading roles, a frustrating period for a man once at the top of the box office. He also battled health issues in his later years, including heart problems. Ford lived a long life, passing away on August 30, 2006, from natural causes at the age of 90. At the time of his death, his net worth was estimated at around $12 million, much of it from his prolific film career and wise real estate investments. He owned a beautiful Beverly Hills property, where he spent his final years away from the Hollywood spotlight. Remembered for his versatility and understated acting style, Glenn Ford left behind a legacy of cinematic excellence. His portrayal of Pa Kent remains one of the most beloved father figures in superhero film history, embodying the values that shaped Superman himself. Trevor Howard, the distinguished British actor who portrayed the wise First Elder in Superman, 1978, was born on September 29, 1913. At 65 years old when filming, he brought gravitas and authority to the Kryptonian Council. Howard's career was already legendary, with acclaimed performances in Brief Encounter, 1945, The Third Man, 1949, and Mutiny on the Bounty, 1962. His precise diction and dignified presence made him a natural fit for authoritative roles. Yet Howard's life carried its own turbulence. While celebrated for his artistry, he battled chronic health issues tied to heavy smoking and drinking, which at times impacted his reliability on set. Despite these struggles, he remained in demand, though his blunt and uncompromising personality occasionally led to clashes with directors and co-stars. Trevor Howard passed away on January 7, 1988, from liver failure complicated by cirrhosis, at the age of 74. At the time of his death, his net worth was estimated around $5 million, accumulated from decades of prestigious stage and screen work. He lived modestly in England, owning a countryside home far from the bustle of Hollywood. Howard's legacy rests on his reputation as one of Britain's most respected actors, whose performances radiated intelligence and integrity. His brief role in Superman remains a small but memorable part of a career defined by depth, skill, and unwavering professionalism. Margot Kidder, the spirited actress who immortalized Lois Lane in Superman, 1978, was born on October 17, 1948. At 29 years old when she first stepped into the role, she brought intelligence, wit, and undeniable chemistry with Christopher Reeve's Superman, redefining the character for a generation. Before Superman, Kidder had built a strong resume with films like Sisters, 1972, The Great Waldo Pepper, 1975, and Black Christmas, 1974. However, her real life was far from the fearless confidence she displayed on screen. Margot battled bipolar disorder for much of her adult life, which led to public episodes that drew intense media scrutiny, most infamously in 1996 when she was found disoriented in Los Angeles after going missing for several days. Career setbacks, financial hardship, and failed marriages, 3 in total, added to her personal struggles. Despite this, she remained a passionate advocate for mental health awareness and political activism. Tragically, Margot Kidder died on May 13, 2018, at the age of 69, with her death later ruled a suicide by overdose. At the time, her net worth was estimated at around $300,000, having faced financial instability in her later years. She lived in a modest home in Montana, where she embraced a quieter, more private lifestyle away from Hollywood's glare. Her portrayal of Lois Lane remains one of cinema's most beloved, blending toughness, vulnerability, and heart. Even through her battles and tragedies, Margot Kidder's legacy endures as both a gifted actress and a symbol of resilience in the face of personal demons. Susanna York, the distinguished British actress, became a cinematic icon for her portrayal of Lara, Superman's Kryptonian mother, in Superman, 1978. Born on January 9, 1939, York was 39 years old when she took on the role, bringing a quiet elegance and emotional depth to a character who appears briefly yet leaves a lasting impact. Already an established star, she was known for her performances in Tom Jones, 1963, They Shoot Horses, Don't They? 1969, and Images, 1972, the latter earning her an Academy Award nomination. Her career, however, was not without turbulence. Despite her talent, York faced industry typecasting and periods of diminished roles in the 1980s and 1990s. In her personal life, she experienced the breakdown of her marriage to Michael Wells, a painful chapter that she often kept private. Financial strains also hit during quieter acting years, forcing her to accept projects she later admitted she took solely for income rather than passion. York passed away on January 15, 2011, just 6 days after her 72nd birthday, from multiple myeloma, a type of blood cancer. Her death was a blow to the British film and theatre community, as she had continued performing on stage even during her illness. She left behind 2 children but never remarried after her divorce. While she was not known for extravagant real estate holdings, she maintained a comfortable London home filled with books, scripts, and mementos from her career. Her estimated net worth at the time of her death was modest compared to Hollywood standards, reflecting a career rooted more in artistry than commercial gain. York's legacy remains that of a gifted actress who brought grace to every role, even in the face of personal and professional adversity. Maria Schell, the Austrian-born actress who portrayed Wanda in Superman, 1978, was born on January 15, 1926. She was 52 when she appeared in the film, giving the role of the Kryptonian elder a quiet wisdom and gravitas. Long before Superman, Schell was celebrated in European cinema, starring in acclaimed works like Gervais, 1956, The Brothers Karamazov, 1958, and The Hanging Tree, 1959. Her radiant presence and emotional depth earned her the nickname, the Smile of Vienna, and she was one of the few European actresses to make a successful transition to Hollywood. But her life story carried a thread of tragedy. After a glittering career in the 1950s and 1960s, she faced a painful decline in film offers during the 1970s. Financial troubles mounted, and she battled depression, retreating from public life for periods of time. Her marriage to director Veit Reelin ended in divorce, and she endured years of loneliness, despite having a daughter. Health problems in her later years further isolated her from the industry that once adored her. Maria Schell died on April 26, 2005, at the age of 79, from pneumonia after a long period of illness. At the time of her death, her net worth was estimated at around $1 million, much of it tied to her property in Austria. She spent her final years in seclusion at her home in Carinthia, surrounded by the beauty of the Alps but far from the spotlight she once commanded. Her role in Superman may have been small, but Maria Schell's legacy as an actress of rare emotional power remains a cherished part of international cinema history. Terence Stamp, the magnetic British actor, is forever etched in pop culture for his commanding portrayal of General Zod in Superman, 1978. Born on July 22, 1938, Stamp was 40 years old when he first embodied the tyrannical Kryptonian villain, delivering a performance that balanced menace with regal authority. By the time he donned Zod's iconic black robes, Stamp was already acclaimed for roles in Billy Budd, 1962, Far From the Madding Crowd, 1967, and The Collector, 1965, which earned him an Academy Award nomination. His life and career, however, were punctuated by dramatic turns. In the late 1960s and 1970s, his career momentum faltered, partly due to his reluctance to embrace certain Hollywood trends and his extended self-imposed exile in India seeking spiritual fulfillment. Financial instability followed, and his personal life was equally turbulent, most notably his short-lived marriage to Elizabeth O'Rourke, which ended in divorce. Stamp often spoke of a sense of isolation despite his fame, admitting that the peaks of his career were matched by long stretches of loneliness and self-doubt. Today, at 87 years old, Stamp remains a striking figure, occasionally appearing in film and television, with notable later roles in The Limey, 1999, and as the voice of Jor-El in Smallville. Never having children, he has instead focused on writing memoirs and exploring photography. His net worth, built over decades of work, is estimated in the mid-millions, and he enjoys a comfortable London residence along with a retreat in Italy. Despite the setbacks and personal struggles, Stamp's career endures as a testament to resilience and reinvention, and his turn as General Zod continues to define him for generations of Superman fans. Jack O'Halloran, the towering American actor and former heavyweight boxer, became a cult figure for his role as Non, the mute yet fearsome Kryptonian villain in Superman, 1978, and Superman 2, 1980. Born on April 8, 1943, O'Halloran was 35 years old when he first appeared on screen alongside Terrence Stamp's General Zod. His imposing 6 feet 6 inches frame and silent, menacing presence made Non one of the most memorable antagonists in the series, even without a single spoken line. Before Hollywood, O'Halloran had a promising boxing career in the late 1960s and early 1970s, facing notable fighters like George Foreman and Ken Norton. However, his sports career was plagued by injuries, controversies, and rumors linking him to organized crime, a connection he has both acknowledged and disputed over the years. His transition to acting brought roles in films like Farewell, My Lovely, 1975, and King Kong, 1976, but his post-Superman career never reached the same level of visibility. O'Halloran's personal life was equally turbulent. Failed marriages, strained relationships, and business ventures that collapsed due to legal and financial troubles became recurring themes. He has spoken openly about personal loss, betrayal, and the difficulty of breaking away from the shadow of his boxing past. Now 82 years old, O'Halloran lives a quieter life, occasionally attending fan conventions and working on writing projects, including books that explore his life in sports, acting, and the underworld. His net worth is modest, reflecting a life of both opportunity and missteps, and he resides in a comfortable but unpretentious home in California. Though marked by setbacks, his legacy as Non endures, cementing his place in Superman history as the silent giant who left a loud impression. Phyllis Thaxter, forever remembered as the gentle and loving Ma Kent in Superman, 1978, was born on November 20, 1919, and was 59 when she portrayed Clark Kent's adoptive mother. Her warm performance gave the character a deep sense of humanity and kindness. Before Superman, Thaxter had already enjoyed a prolific career, starring in films like 30 Seconds Over Tokyo, 1944, and The Sea of Grass, 1947, yet her life was far from free of hardship. In 1952, at the height of her Hollywood career, she suffered a severe attack of polio that left her partially paralyzed, forcing her into years of rehabilitation and costing her many major roles. It was a devastating setback for an actress poised for greater stardom. Despite her resilience, personal life challenges shadowed her later years. Her marriage to James T. Aubrey Jr., a powerful television executive, ended in divorce in 1962, and she faced long stretches of reduced work offers. In her final decades, Thaxter lived a quiet life away from the limelight, occasionally appearing in TV movies. She passed away on August 14, 2012, from Alzheimer's disease at the age of 92. Financially, her net worth was modest compared to Hollywood standards, reportedly in the low millions, much of it from careful investments rather than film royalties. She never remarried, had one daughter, and owned a peaceful home in Long Island where she spent her final years. While she endured illness and career decline, Thaxter's legacy remains that of a dignified performer who overcame personal tragedy to deliver one of the most heartfelt portrayals in superhero cinema history. Valerie Perrine, the vivacious American actress and former model, lit up the screen as Eve Teschmacher, Lex Luthor's glamorous and quick-witted accomplice, in Superman, 1978, and its sequel. Born on September 3, 1943, Perrine was 35 years old when she brought a mix of charm, sensuality, and comic timing to the role, creating one of the most memorable supporting characters in the franchise. Before donning Eve's stylish wardrobe, Perrine had already made waves in Hollywood with her bold performance in Lenny, 1974, earning both an Academy Award nomination and a Cannes Best Actress Award, as well as appearances in Slaughterhouse-Five, 1972, and The Last American Hero, 1973. Her life, however, was far from a fairy tale. Perrine's career momentum slowed in the 1980s and 1990s due to shifting industry tastes, roles that failed to match her talent, and struggles with health. In later years, she faced a devastating diagnosis of Parkinson's disease, which limited her ability to work and made public appearances rare. Financial hardships followed, and despite her iconic status, she never married or had children, often speaking candidly about loneliness and the unpredictability of Hollywood fame. Now 81 years old, Perrine lives quietly in California, surrounded by close friends and longtime supporters. Her net worth is modest, much of it sustained through residuals and occasional convention appearances. She owns a cozy home rather than the opulent estates many might expect of a former Hollywood star, focusing on comfort and stability over extravagance. Though her career faced obstacles and her health has challenged her, Valerie Perrine's legacy as Eve Teschmacher, and as a fearless, charismatic performer, remains firmly etched in Superman history. Ned Beatty, the unforgettable character actor who brought the bumbling henchman Otis to life in Superman, 1978, was born on July 6, 1937. He was 41 when he stepped into the role, adding comedic relief to Lex Luthor's villainy. By the time of Superman, Beatty was already known for his remarkable range, appearing in films such as Deliverance, 1972, Network, 1976, and All the President's Men, 1976. His career spanned decades, covering drama, comedy, and even voice work in hits like Toy Story 3. Yet, Beatty's life was not without turbulence. While he maintained a successful career, his personal life saw multiple divorces, 4 marriages, 3 ending in heartbreak. Financial mismanagement and career slumps in the late 1980s brought difficult years, with fewer prominent roles and a sense of being overshadowed by the industry's changing trends. These periods tested his resilience but also revealed his determination to keep working. Ned Beatty passed away on June 13, 2021, from natural causes at the age of 83. At the time of his death, his net worth was estimated at around $5 million, largely from his extensive film and television work. He left behind 8 children from his various marriages. Beatty owned a comfortable home in Los Angeles but lived quietly in his later years, far from the Hollywood spotlight. His legacy endures as one of Hollywood's most reliable and versatile character actors, a man who could steal a scene whether playing a comedic sidekick like Otis or delivering a powerhouse dramatic monologue. Though he faced personal and professional hardships, Beatty's body of work remains a testament to a career built on skill, adaptability, and heart. Gene Hackman, the acclaimed actor who brought wit and menace to the role of Lex Luthor in Superman, 1978, was born on January 30, 1930, and was 48 years old when he portrayed the criminal mastermind. Already a respected performer from films like Bonnie and Clyde and The French Connection, Hackman's take on Luthor mixed charm with ruthless ambition, making him one of the most memorable comic book villains ever brought to the screen. Over his decades-long career, he appeared in hits such as Unforgiven, Hoosiers, and The Royal Tenenbaums. Yet, his journey was not without hardships. Hackman endured a turbulent childhood, leaving home at 16 after a strained relationship with his father, and spent years struggling to be taken seriously in Hollywood. Known for his fiery temper and occasional conflicts on set, he sometimes clashed with directors over creative control. Despite his fame, Hackman stepped away from acting in 2004, choosing a quieter life away from the spotlight. Now in his 90s, his net worth is estimated in the tens of millions, much of it from decades of starring roles. Married twice and a father of 3, his personal life was largely kept private, though his first marriage ended in a difficult divorce after 3 decades. Today, he lives a low-profile life in New Mexico, enjoying painting and writing novels, far from Hollywood's chaos. His homes reflect comfort rather than extravagance, a fitting retreat for a man who once ruled the screen as Superman's greatest foe. Which character from Superman, 1978, holds a special place in your heart? How does it make you feel knowing that some of the beloved cast members are no longer with us? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to share them in the comments below. If you've been enjoying this content, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thank you for watching.